Hello, I'm Tarte. This is the 40th in my series of weekly videos for friendlyatheist.com. One of the commenters at several of my YouTube videos is Paul Barlow, with YouTube name UKAngryAtheist. He and I have become YouTube friends. Paul recently made his first YouTube video, and I think it is excellent. I invite you to join with me now in viewing it. He has entitled it, Reply to TJ and Others.
Hello, I'm the UKAngryAtheist, and though I've been on YouTube for over a year now, I've never made a film before, so please bear with me, this is my first attempt. I'm making this film following the plea from Thunderfoot for more atheists to take part in discussions on YouTube, and I hope that what I'm about to say people will find interesting and thought-provoking, though I doubt many people will find it new. I've previously resisted the temptation to make films and to actually take part actively on YouTube, because I've always sort of thought that there's not a great deal more to be said in the debate between believers and non-believers. And that's probably still true. However, as I say, Thunderfoot's put this plea out for people to make films, and there's been some things that have happened on YouTube recently, and although I've commented on various films, I kind of feel that I actually want to say something in person, if you like, so I hope you'll indulge me and watch this film and comment. Thanks very much. Basically, I'd like to comment on a film by a contributor called Love Being a Priest, who is a Catholic priest called TJ, and he's been in dialogue with Edward Tarte, who's a former priest living in Texas, who is now an atheist and has made lots of films on YouTube about atheism as well as about music, because he's also very interested in music. He's a maths teacher and plays chess. And this dialogue between TJ and Edward Tarte has been going on for some time, and recently TJ made a film called Changed by Love. In that film, one of the things that he commented on was he wondered what was happening and what happened to Edward and other atheists that had changed in here. What had changed the feeling in their hearts about God. And I think the observation I'd like to make is that he's really looking at things from the wrong perspective. I'm sure that the thing that changed Edward's mind was that he changed his mind. It wasn't that he had a feeling in his heart. It wasn't the feeling that he was going off. He was using his brain. He was thinking. That was what made the difference. And being rational and looking at the evidence and balancing all the things in the Bible against what we know from science and from investigation using our brains, I think Edward realised that really there were a lot of discrepancies in the Bible and in all the other holy books, and that really it wasn't a rational position. And I think fundamentally this is a problem between atheists and believers of whatever faith, that believers go with their feelings and their instincts and what they know is true, or what they know they believe is true. Whereas I think when people become atheists, they're no longer willing to go with feelings and beliefs, and they're looking for evidence and rationality. And that's the difference. It's when people stop making excuses for religions and stop twisting logic to fit with their holy book or their holy beliefs, and they start looking at the evidence that there is and then draw rational conclusions from that evidence. That's when they become atheists. And that's why the dialogue's so difficult, because we're coming at this issue from different perspectives. TJ is thinking about how he feels, how he knows God's there because he feels him in his heart. Whereas perhaps a rationalist like myself would say, well, people feel lots of things. It doesn't mean they're true. They're just subjective feelings. People can take drugs or have mental illness or become dehydrated or infected with a bacterium or a virus, and have vivid hallucinations and believe all sorts of things that simply aren't objectively true. People delude themselves in all sorts of ways, and I sincerely believe that's what people do when they believe in a religion. They want to believe, and so they twist everything else and bend everything else and don't look objectively at what's out there, so that things fit in with their belief system. That's very plain, very obvious, I think, to most rationalists. That's what people are doing. But I think the faithful need to look at that and say, is that what I'm doing? Can I step out and take a rational view of things, balance the evidence on both sides rationally without feeling, take that out of the equation and think through the issues in front of me and come to a conclusion? And I think if you do that honestly, then you have to become a non-believer. And I should just point out, that doesn't mean that I will never believe in a God. If somebody provided me evidence that was compelling, that wasn't about feeling and belief and faith, that was about, here is concrete evidence that there is a God, a creator, I will believe it. But the simple fact is that evidence doesn't exist at the moment, or at least it's never been brought to my attention, and so I can't believe it. Finally, I'd like to say, my father died 2 years ago this year, and one of the things he left me with, although he probably had some sort of religious faith of his own, I don't know, but one of the things he left me with, one sort of thing to aspire to, was, he said to me, you must always remember that when you look in that mirror in the morning when you shave, you mustn't be ashamed of the person you see. And I've tried to live by that, and that's why I have to be honest, and I have to evaluate the information, the knowledge that we have, and that's why I'm an atheist, because that's the honest position, and honesty and integrity is important to me. So I'd say to Father TJ and other believers, look at things honestly, be honest, don't bend it to your will so it's what you want it to be. Look at the world, look at it rationally, come to a decision. I hope you've enjoyed watching that. As I say, nothing groundbreaking in there, I'm sure, but it's how I see things, and it's my perspective on this argument between TJ and Edward Tarte, and lots of other arguments that go out there between believers and non-believers. I hope you've enjoyed it, as I say, and please subscribe. I get enough people subscribing, perhaps I'll make some more films and give you some more perspectives on things. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Next week, I plan to offer you the second of the 2 videos that Paul Barlow has made so far. Thank you for watching.